let's talk about my name, my username, and if you know me in the real life, why is it that I use different names, and like, what does it all mean? I just got a tongue piercing, so if I have a lisp, that is why. If I'm speaking weird, my tongue is still swollen, so I still am talking like this for a while. For an audio description to make this more accessible, I am sitting against a green wall in a green chair. Behind me you can see a painting, and to the left of me, but probably to the right of the video, is a bookcase. I am brown-skinned man. I'm wearing this like white chain necklace, this bandana with yellow, black, and white on it. I have 2 eyebrow piercings, an eyebrow slit in an X on the other eyebrow, a septum piercing, 2 nose rings. I'm wearing a giant hoops on one ear with snakes on it, and I have several other piercings. Visible is also my tattoo that is a chain on my, like, below my neck, and I'm wearing a black sleeveless shirt. Hello individuals. I'm going to talk about my name on this channel, my username, because they're different, and what it even means, any of it. So I've introduced myself in the past couple videos as Sam. It is a name that I am trying out. It is short for something. It's not just Sam. I am not basic. It is short for Samael, which is the name of a fallen angel, a demon. Some people think of him as Satan himself. I might have mentioned this before, but I am, out of the 2 masters I'm getting, one of them is in divinity. So I'm super into theology and super into the lore of like what the supernatural and stuff. I am a Christian. I'm also like exploring witchcraft and exploring ancestral works and all that. I'm super into like lore of the different kinds of stories and like the different theologies. So I was reading one of the non-canonical books and read about these fallen angels that like sort of made children with humans on Earth, and then they created these violent giants, and I was just like so invested in the story. And I think Samael is an awesome name, and so I was like, I want this. And so it's a name that I go by in some, I guess, like hidden worlds. Like I think it's one of the names that I go by in one of my dating apps, but that I don't use anymore because I'm not actively dating. But it's a name that I've been thinking about trying out in my life, just because I'm having some feelings develop about like the name that I chose, and people not pronouncing it right, and then like it's the whole thing. But until then, I'm sort of just testing it out here, and it kind of goes with the username, which I will get into. I made a video when I started this channel 8 years ago, however long it was, about where Man with Wings came from. I will include the clipping of what I said.
So, to explain that a little more, I'm also going to talk about the username that I chose. Man with Wings stems from me and my gender identity. I'm non-binary, which means that I don't really fit within the gender binary, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it's probably because you're so used to it. So you can imagine how hard it is for those of us who don't live within those guidelines. Non-binary folk are people who fluctuate in between or who fluctuate outside of that system. I fluctuate alright. My name, Man with Wings, really came because most people who look at me assume that I'm cisgendered female. Assume that because I dress feminine, because I present myself in a more feminine way. Most people assume I'm a woman, right? But in reality, I actually identify as more male, but find myself more comfortable in things like makeup. I did mention my love for makeup, and that's also where my name came from, because winged eyeliners are basically my signature look, and I thought it would be pretty clever to put that together.
So I now feel different, and I am gonna make another video that sort of reviews some of my old stuff and like sort of updates about where I am, especially because now like I'm actively back. I sort of want to clarify who I am and how I've got here and stuff. But yeah, so I no longer identify as genderqueer. I haven't for a really long time, for many, many years. I still wear makeup. Like I started wearing makeup again a couple years ago, actively, and I'm not doing it now just because I'm like gonna go to work later, and I don't need to be putting that much effort to be working in a coffee shop, at least not today. So, Man with Wings also comes still from the winged eyeliner, because I still wear that. Also because of my favorite short story, A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's a great story, and there are so many different ways to interpret it. But what I've gotten from it from over the years, and why this username came up to begin with, and why it's quoted on my YouTube page, is because for me, like the old man is seen as so many things to different people. When he is first found in these farmers' house, he is seen as like an angel of death, because they have a really sick child, and like they wonder if he's there to like cure her or like take her away. Everyone gets involved. People like start paying money to have this angel sort of like, or this man with wings that they consider an angel, sort of answer their questions or fulfill their wishes, and like they keep poking at him and prodding at him and like plucking his feathers and like nearly burning him just to figure out what he is, and like sort of come to the conclusion by themselves anyway, because he doesn't speak the same language. And for me, has always been significant, because it's always felt like I've had other people tell me what I am, and like I think more so in the beginning of when I made this channel and like did identify as non-binary, was because I felt like everyone in the world was telling me what I was, and because of what I looked like, and I wasn't allowed the opportunity to like define that for myself, which is why really like YouTube became a really big deal for me, was because I finally got to express like what my interests were and like who I was. YouTube became the space where I get to speak that unintelligible language, that I wasn't allowed to in the real world. And I may not feel that way particularly anymore, but that story still holds a lot of significance for me, just because of the sense of like, his reason becomes sort of, it still remains unknown even at the end of the story. It's supposed to be like a mystical story, and I don't know, there's something really precious about that. And also the wings, like fallen angel, the fact that he's considered an angel, all of that just kind of links up together, and that's sort of why the username hasn't changed and why it won't change, because it still makes sense to me. Because why it mattered to me might not, like the significance of it in relation to my story might not necessarily be the same, but the significance of the story still is. So yeah, I think I also wanted to make this video because like I am introducing myself as Sam, but it is short for something, and I particularly really love this name. And I also think like it's so interesting to see where my theology has like changed throughout the time that I have like made this channel. There was a time that I was really bitter and angry at the church, and then there was a time that I like started coming back to my faith, and then there was a time that I was like Christian again and trying to figure out what that looked like, to be trans and Christian in a space that I didn't have yet. And then I ended up finding a church, and then I ended up going to divinity school. The later part of this story being that I wasn't on YouTube anymore, and now I very much am in a point where I definitely know what I don't believe, and I'm more secure in what I do believe than I was before. A lot of deconstruction. I don't believe in the devil or like a satanic force. I think a lot of that is like feelings that folks sort of put to blame, and I mean I can get into my own theology in a different video, but this is sort of tying it back to why somehow it works for me. Why does it make sense? Yeah. Thank you for watching. If you comment, if you like, if you subscribe, you can give an individual their wings. And if you subscribe, you can join my winged family. Who doesn't want to learn to fly?